Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I cannot believe we are sitting down with video for the very first time. This is something that I have wanted to do for like 5 years or longer, and I finally just gave myself permission to do it. I was like, fuck the lighting, fuck the backdrop. I'm not able to be as good and as clean as Kenzie Burke. Like, it is what it is. I'm gonna do this because I love it and I've always wanted to do this. And here we are, full episodes published to YouTube in video. Crazy. I am on the floor right now in my living room with my coffee table in front of me. I've got my magic juice, my beautiful giant iced coffee, and it is so good. Like, so good, let me tell you. I'm in my Reprise activewear set today. This is a non-toxic athletic wear set. They sent me some pieces. It's a woman-owned business. We love them. And I'm rocking my Well Woman merch because the beta launch for my app is very soon. As you might have noticed, the podcast got a rebrand. Everything has turned to Well Woman because this feels like the adult stage of my life. I finally feel like I am officially in my womanhood. I'm almost 2 years into being a mom and I'm really settling into my own house. It's beautiful. And I just feel like I'm on my adult path. Finally, like I've shifted from that point of being in your 20s where you're like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who I am because every year I have a life crisis. And now I feel like things are settling as I'm going into turning 29 in just a couple months. Actually, sorry, it's called 25. That's the theme of my birthday this year. Anyways, today's episode is current energies. Are we jumping timelines or is shit just getting worse? And this came to me late at night one day and I was like, I have to record this because every other day we see an astrologer saying there's a new eclipse or a new conjunction in this, that, wherever planet. And like shit is just popping off with like the Epstein files and in the government and with ICE and like all these things that are just going on. And people are finding out absolutely crazy information every single day. And like that's a lot on our nervous system. And it's really hard to process that when this is a new era we've never been in. We've never watched the corruption of our government and the elites and higher up authoritative systems not only be challenged, but like be exposed like this. And I think everyone is dealing with it in a different way. But there is something that I wanted to talk to you guys about that's like been weighing on me and really tough for me today. So we're going to get a little bit vulnerable in that share. But first things first, there are some little things I need to chat with you about before we dive into that. So, as I'm sure you know, if you have a uterus, every single month when your luteal phase comes around, you might have this sort of like internal crisis and drop in positive dialogue where you start spiraling. This has been happening to me for months now. And what's interesting is I saw like a peak in this sort of luteal spiral. That's what like I've been calling it, this luteal spiral. As I started getting clearer about what I wanted to do with my job, my career, owning my worth, being disciplined, and like really showing up for my shit and showing up as myself every day, the voice got louder and more like self-critical every single month when my period was about to come. And so online, I've actually seen a couple of female coaches talking about this. And I thought this was just really important information to share because while I know so much about our cycle, it's so weird how like when you're in the experience of something, you kind of don't give yourself the same grace and permission as like another person would or that you would give another person. So like if a woman, like a client came to me and was like, Steph, every month right before my period, I'm like so down on myself. I'd be like, oh girl, it's just your hormones. But when it's me having these like identity breakdowns and questioning all the work, creative efforts, and like energetic focus that I pushed that whole month, when I'm leading up to my period, I sit there and I'm like, what are you doing? No one likes it. No one likes you. You're not making progress. Like, this is bad. You should be doing better. And not once did it dawn on me like, girl, it's your fucking hormones. Like, it has nothing to do with the voice being right, okay? You are just more self critical because that's in your biological design. Because when you're about to bleed, your body goes into a state of protection. Your body wants to protect you, your body wants to rest and relax. And so, naturally, with the drop and rise of certain hormones, you're going to have these natural biological impulses happen to you, and it doesn't have to mean something about you, and it doesn't have to mean that you didn't do a good job at work this month or that you weren't doing your feminine embodiment right. Like, who the hell is going to tell you how to embody your femininity other than yourself? So anyways, I got so happy when I saw other women talking about this online, and I just really wanted to like share this with my audience and reassure you that if your period comes around every month and you kind of find yourself doing like a negative overhaul of your life, but in a way that isn't constructive criticism, it's just straight up negativity, that is your hormones talking. And you don't need to like force yourself to have energy, force yourself to like, again, like overhaul everything you're doing and start from scratch. You don't need to like cancel everything you were working on, because like I have tested this theory, tried and true. It's been like 4 to 6 months I've been doing this. Every time follicular phase hits, every time that bleeding stops, bitch, I'm like, oh my God, I'm the shit. I'm that bitch. Everybody loves me. I'm amazing. People want to buy what I offer. People want to be in my world. Everyone thinks I'm the coolest. I think I'm the coolest. So fuck everybody else if they don't. Like, that is just the way that our biology is designed. And it sucks, but it's just something to be aware of. And you know, in the self-help and self-love, personal development space, information is your best friend. Because when you have the awareness around something, then it doesn't have to be debilitating and it doesn't have to be isolating. Which this thing that I've been experiencing, I thought, of course, because we just do that. Like, girls do that. Why do we think we're the only person in the whole universe who goes through this thing and we act like we're the most important person ever? Girl, no, everybody's going through this same thing, and you're fine and you're normal, and it's literally just your estrogen and your progesterone. Okay, now we are going to get into something that I've really been wanting to talk about that's been weighing on me so bad, you guys. And this is about the Epstein files in relation to the recent news about Deepak Chopra. I need to just like take a breath on that, because this is, I mean, I've been crying over this. So if you don't know, it was recently released in some of the redacted Epstein files that Deepak Chopra's name was mentioned, God, I don't know how many times, so I'm not going to pick a number based off of what I just remember, but I know that it was hundreds, if not thousands of times. And I've even read some of the emails. And in the emails, he's discussing 9-year-old girls and how girls are so cute. And there's a bunch of other things spiritually that I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I feel like no, I don't feel that way. I am having a spiritual crisis over this. Deepak Chopra is one of the only male authors in my library. And if you're new to the show here, I just want you to know, a bitch reads, okay? Like I love books. I love books so much. They mean everything to me. I'm a writer. I hope to publish my own self-help books one day, and I would love to be published by Hay House because I love Louise Hay so much. It's my favorite publishing house. And I really rarely read male authors because I felt like divine masculine energy, when I first learned about like a man being in his truest servitude, and that embodied energy is like such a special thing. And I hadn't found any authors that didn't come off as like arrogant to me. I mean, I'm sure you guys know, wow, Stephanie. I'm about to like reference a book that you guys definitely know about, but like I don't even remember the exact name of the book. That's how much I didn't enjoy reading it, because it just felt like a money grab, and it felt like fake pseudo spirituality and him trying to fill a gap in a popular like genre at the time. I'm not talking about Deepak. I'm talking about another male author. I can't think of it right now, but I've talked about this before. Anyways, the point is that I would give it a chance, and I would buy books in the self-help category that are like New York Times bestseller, off the freaking charts. Everybody loves it. And I would read it, and I could feel I was so in tuned back when I started my spiritual awakening. I just felt so open and so like raw and just like ready to receive. And I was like, this guy's full of shit. Like, this is not divine masculine energy. Like, this is like a money grab. This is like just him being in his ego and wanting people to think he's smart. He's repetitive. These sentences are running circles around each other. Like, absolutely not. And so it took me a couple years, you guys, to find some male authors that really spoke to me. And I planted like true roots into the ground in my spiritual essence with male authors like Neville Goddard and Wayne Dyer and Napoleon Hill. They were just this explosion of like a whole new realm of understanding myself, my relationship to God, my relationship to everything that exists, how to be a positive thinker, how to go after things. Like, they gave me a healthy relationship to the masculine energy that we all have, even as women, like that dual yin and yang balance. And so in comes Deepak Chopra, and he just became like such a pillar. Oh my God, like that's the only way I can describe it. Like he was one of my favorite authors at the time. And then, and this is a whole nother subset of this whole situation with Epstein and all these things. And then I found this girl named Sahara Rose, and I'm sure you know her. If you follow me, you probably follow like similar women in the spiritual space. And she was someone that, I was drawn to. And so I was just obsessed with her work. And at the time, I had just started my herbalism studies when I found her. I think I got my first certificate in herbalism like over 5 years ago. So like I've been following her and a part of her, her practice and her journey for a long time. And she released her book, Discover Your Dharma. And I was like, oh my God, I am deep in my schoolwork around Ayurveda. I was learning the doshas. I was learning to apply them. I was learning how to cook Ayurvedic food, which you guys know, like I cook plant-based food, and I know and have such a background of understanding how to use Ayurveda for healing. I mean, it's the oldest healing system there is. I've always been so incredibly inspired by it and moved by it. And so for Sahara to release this book all about your dharma and the doshas and like all this, I was like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing ever. And then the two worlds merged when Deepak wrote the foreword of that book. And I thought, holy shit, this woman is like, this is her first like true self-help book, like out the gate. And Deepak wrote her foreword. I can do this too. This can happen for me. I remember it was such a big moment. I was like, she is legit like living her biggest dreams, and I can do this too. Like, other people like him can be inspired by my writing enough to support me from the get-go with my first novel, with my first self-help book. And it was such a moving experience. Anyways, fast forward a few years. Deepak releases a book called The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire. And my dog Nola had just died. And I found this book. I know I'm going to cry through this part, you guys. This shit is hard. I found this book after my dog Nola died, which, if you do not know about my dog Nola, a little brief synopsis is I rescued her from a really bad drug house in Baltimore when I was 16 years old. I was in a very violently, physically abusive relationship at the time, and that dog stood between me and violence for almost 10 years. She was the love of my life. She was my first child. She was absolutely everything to me. And in the end, she got sick really fast, and there was really nothing that I could do. I had been trying everything, and she was like my spirit baby. And I was actually pregnant in that bad relationship and didn't go through with it. And Nola grew up with me instead of the baby that I didn't have. And so after Nola died, I found this book, The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire. And I read this thing cover to cover in a matter of days. I have a copy of it in my hand. So if you're on video, you'll be able to see. But this book is filled with my notes, my highlighting. I have, like, I loved this thing so hard. Like, this book, it gave me revelations about the universe that I had never had before. And it felt like it gave me a chance to start over with my spiritual journey after my dog died. And here's what pisses me the fuck off. This is where the spiritual crisis is coming from, okay? This man that wrote this thing, that moved me miles, lifetimes, is a fucking pedophile. I mean, you can't make this shit up though. Like, what? And so I just, like, when this information came out, I like kind of just like sat with it for a couple days and was like, okay, Stephanie, you have to get grounded and like realize that you have to clear out your library. You've got to address these deep things, that you're so connected to someone that did some, like, you've got to figure this out. So I took 3 days and then I came back to it and I was like, okay, I'm going to read the emails and I'm going to figure out, you know, the depth of it. And in one of the emails that I read, he says the words, God is a construct. And then something about a 9-year-old girl that I won't repeat. But he said, God is a construct. And there are a bunch of emails like that the universe isn't real, that God is just a made up construct, blah, blah, blah. And I sat there and was just like, what am I supposed to do with the fact that this person feels like none of this is real either? Like, you guys, when I tell you, like, even recounting this, I'm like, it just makes me like melt into a puddle where I'm like, wait, this shit made me feel like he was telling me God's word, because he reached such a level of enlightenment that like he knew. And this motherfucker is sitting there saying, God is a construct, but 9-year-old girls are cute and they're definitely real. What? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna take a break. Oh my God. Here's what really makes me like the most mad. What makes me the most mad is that, no, there's a couple things. Oh, the realizations are pouring in, you guys. What makes me really angry, and we'll just make a list. One is that there is evil in every single industry. Like, it's infiltrated every mind space area. Anywhere that you could consume, it's infiltrated. And here's the other thing that makes me so mad, you guys. I should fucking have known better. Where was my discernment that I didn't feel anything? That's what's pissing me the fuck off so bad. Why didn't I feel something off? Why did I just believe 100,000,000% that like this work is beautiful and I resonated? This is what I've been having my crisis over, is how could I resonate with someone who's that evil and abuses children? Like, I'm having this like moral dilemma over supporting authors that have done things like this. It's the same as supporting people people's music who were in the Epstein files or whatever it is. Like, I'm such an introspective and like self-responsible person that it blows my mind that I didn't feel it and that I didn't know. And I guess I wonder like what type of magic is in this shit that makes us ignorant to it. What is it that they're doing that is bypassing our energetic like attunement meter that says like a flag of, oh, this ain't right, this person's not right? Why did none of us feel it? That's what's been haunting me about this. And also I feel highly betrayed as a writer, as a devoted reader, as a believer in, you know, Buddhism and like Indian culture and all the different like quantum realm theories and all these different nuanced things that merge together to create new age spirituality books. I feel so betrayed. that he used our energy against us to make millions of fucking dollars. And just what this book means to me on a soul level of how it pulled me out of such a dark time, that I don't know how to forgive that. Another thing that needs to be addressed is, where the fuck is Sahara Rose? Girl, where are you? Why is nobody hearing about your take on this? He's written the foreword to multiple books of hers, okay? And she posts one story about it, barely touching on it. I can understand needing to get grounded and being in a spiritual crisis as well, because, like, hello, I read the books and I feel betrayed. She wrote the book and had him write the foreword. But it is unacceptable for someone in the spiritual space to not address the fact that one of their books that's on shelves being sold right now has forewords written by a pedophile that she has supported wholeheartedly her entire career. What is she doing? She is going to lose everybody who supports her if she does not get on the right side of this fast. To be honest, it made me lose all respect for her, and I will not follow her or support her in any capacity moving forward. And I have no fucking shame about that either. Right is right and wrong is wrong, bitch. So in closing, in relation to this whole Deepak Chopra situation, my mom was reading about it, and I feel so guilty because, like, I got my mom so into some of his work, and not anywhere near like what I am, but like I have probably almost 10 of his books. I even read his book for my fucking pregnancy and home birth, you guys. I just, and you know what? This is so interesting. I'm just now like thinking about this. The only time I've ever felt any like little smidge of weird energy was when I was reading his book about pregnancy and childbirth. I felt this energy of like, he feels too close to this topic. And like, I was kind of gaslighting myself, because I should probably go get the book and read you guys a little bit. I was thinking that maybe I had just never felt a man embodied in his masculine energy, supportive of the feminine, discussing home birth and physiological birth and women being truly embodied and safe and protected and happy and nourished and loved. Like, I just was judging myself. I was like, oh, Stephanie, you haven't had a lot of male figures or supportive male protectors in your life, so this feels violating to read a man talk about women's bodies in this way. But now I know that that wasn't what it fucking was, and I gaslit myself into thinking so. I just had this like off energy where I'm like, this feels a little too intimate for a man to be writing about, to instruct other women about. And now that I think back on that, it feels arrogant. Like he's entitled to women's bodies and also just other things that we ain't even gonna go there. But back to my mom. So my mom was like, oh, hun, like I've got the fire pit out back ready. Like we're gonna burn all the books. And I was like, okay, mom, and then I talked to her about my whole spiritual crisis that I've already covered with you guys. But like, obviously mom heard it first, duh. She hears everything first before the podcast. So it comes to you guys way more well thought out. But I was just then thrown into this secondary moral debate, right? Where I'm like, okay, Stephanie, this is a pedophile. You're 1,000% getting rid of everything that you own that's his. Like that was never a question. I don't support people who do bad shit, period. And I'm not afraid to be seen making a mistake and then changing my mind and owning the fact that I had not known better. This is not our fault. Like, this is this sick fucker's fault. That's like, no question about it. But when it comes to burning the books, that was where I got into it with my mom, where I was just like, but these things meant something to me, and I don't want to lose the knowledge in them, because what if I never have a transformation like that again? Which is so ignorant for me to even think that I wouldn't. Like, this is not the best of the best. This is now filth and trash, and it'll never mean the same thing to me again, and also none of it's even real, because he said so himself. But burning a book that another author wrote as a woman who wants to do what he did, that gets me. I want my book to be on the shelves of Barnes & Noble around the world. And if anyone ever burned one of my books. Like, it just, if you're a writer or a reader, it just feels so morally wrong that I'm like, is this the right thing to do? Because I will never donate this shit. This filth is never going to continue to be circulated. I'm not going to help him continue to be successful and infiltrate people's minds. But just throwing them in the trash feels like a disservice. So I want you guys to weigh in. Shoot me a DM and tell me what you think, because my mom is like got the fire pit ready to go, but I'm really feeling like I'm struggling with judging myself over wanting to like rip these to shreds and release the anger and like burn them. And there is like a lot of books to burn, let me tell you. So what would you guys do? I want to know. Now back to the are we jumping timelines or is shit just getting worse conversation. Right now, we're seeing so much negative stuff come out that I think people are having a hard time believing that we are shifting into a new timeline. So much so that I'm seeing people literally like post photos of the, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like how you can track what timeline we're in through like, is it geothermal temperatures and shit, whatever. I'm not smart enough to fully know what this is, but anyways, people are desperate for things to get better. And I think everyone's nervous system is just really struggling with navigating this precipice moment. Like, we are on such a threshold that everyone, imagine like you're on a threshold where like both sides of a mountain, you're just kind of standing and you're like angled, hanging out on this mountain, and you're like, okay, how long can we stand here? Like I'm standing incline, my legs hurt. Like when are we gonna get to the flat part? Like can we ever what is it called? Can we Can we summit? I should know this. When are we gonna like summit this mountain and start the new timeline, right? When are things gonna calm down? When will everybody that's done bad shit be locked up? When will the government be overhauled? When will the people in office no longer be there? When will we have a candidate that truly represents us with no setbacks or hidden skeletons in their closet? Or should I say children in their closet? And it's uncomfy. We're in an age where like social media has fully taken over our minds, our day, whatever. People's jobs are not the same and people's jobs are not secure or promised. We're also in a situation where like AI is changing the way that we experience life. And a lot of people are scared because it's still very beta and it's coming in fast. And we're like, we actually have no way to distinguish or like visualize what the near future even fucking looks like. And that's really scary. I feel like people are just waiting with like bated breath and like, I just bless their hearts. Everybody has this, most people that I'm in touch with and I see online have this like, this fleeting hopefulness. They're like, if I have to be positive for one last stretch, I'm gonna do it, okay? And they're just like praying and hoping and wishing like this timeline comes through. But I just wanna say to you that whenever you're sitting there asking yourself, like, are we making progress or is shit just getting worse? Things must be broken down in order to be thrown in the trash. Things must be demolished before they can be rebuilt. Things must be cleared and moved out of the current place that they're in before you can move new things in. And as much as humans like instant gratification, that shit takes time. I think the world that we're waiting for, I think the new timeline we're looking for is about 2 years away from us. I think that we are in full swing en route to that, but anything worth having takes time to be built. And I think that this is the time that we focus on nervous system regulation because there is so many things out there that are pulling and yanking at our energy and keeping us from fulfilling the purpose that we came here to fulfill. Even if you don't believe in a greater purpose, the mere purpose of being happy in your everyday life is something that the majority of people don't have. And we need to figure out, despite all these circumstances, how to attain that. We need to slow down enough to listen. We need to stop consuming all the time, because consumption is merely constant negative input. And when you have constant input, but then you have no output, no peace giving activities, no movement, no living, no breathing and adventuring and laughing and having moments and memories with the people you love, or even with yourself, of course you're going to feel like you're in the center of a tornado. You need to have input that isn't just the news, input that isn't just all the bad things that are going on. I think people tend to forget that the reticular activating system in your brain, which filters information, is going to filter in more of what you are providing to it. And so if the only input, like sensory input, you're giving your brain to function off of is these same things, of course it's going to feel like you're not jumping timelines and shit's just getting worse, right? You need to feed your brain more of the good stuff. And unfortunately, in times like these, you have to find the good stuff. It's not going to be easily accessible to you on the internet. You have to make your good moment. And so that is my sentiment I will leave you guys with today. Focus on making good moments and beautiful moments that make you feel happy and fulfilled. Regulate the fuck out of that nervous system, girl. Drink some good coffee. Get rid of the crap in your food system, because we don't use the word diet around here. And let's get ready to burn all of our books that Deepak Chopra wrote. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next episode of the Well Woman podcast. Stay tuned for the beta launch of my app, Well Woman, coming to you very, very soon. All the information to sign up for the waitlist is down below in the show notes. And you guys can also find my social where you can connect with me there. One last thing, I would love if you left a review on Apple Podcasts. Do me a favor, jump down to the review section, leave me your honest review, babe. And even if it isn't good, I want you to screenshot that shit and send it to me, because I have a surprise to send you when you send it to me. Before it goes live, you have to screenshot it, because after you post it, you won't be able to go screenshot it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I hope you really love the very first full-length podcast with video, and I cannot wait to not just hear ya, but see ya in the next one. Sending you my love. Bye, guys.